Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Spring Boot framework. There are a lot of frameworks available in order to do the various types of project. So Spring Boot is one of the framework among them. Okay. So let us have some of the frameworks. Spring is one of the framework. Okay. Hibernate is one of the framework. Strut is one of the framework. Before that, EJB, Enterprise Java Bean, that is provided by Java team itself in order to support Enterprise Edition. EE means Enterprise Edition, which means that we are going to do the project for organization. That is, we are going to develop a project for some organization, that is, the project size may be large. So before J2EE, that is we call it as Java 2 Enterprise Edition. Okay. So before J2EE, we are having J2SE, Java 2 Standard Edition, which is what our core Java. Which is what our core Java. So we have studied the core Java as a Java 2 Standard Edition. After the Java team support some large project in order to help the organization. That is called as J2EE, that is Java 2 Enterprise Edition. So in order to support the Java 2 Enterprise Edition, in order to have such project, in order to develop such project, the Java team introduces the concept called as beans. It is called as Enterprise Java Bean. The Enterprise Java Bean, the beans are the components. Right? With these components, it is possible to develop the Java 2 Enterprise Edition project. So when Java becomes open source, the various teams give their own frameworks which are easier or which are efficient than EJB. Those frameworks are Struts, Hibernate, Spring, Spring Boot, etc. The Strut is a framework. It is not developed by Java team, rather than it is developed by Apache. That is the Tomcat server, the team which developed the Tomcat server at all. Apache is the team which developed the Strut framework in order to have MVC pattern project. We will discuss what is MVC at all. Okay, no problem. And also the Hibernate is another framework which is developed by Red Hat. You are all very familiar that Red Hat is a team which produces Linux, Red Hat Linux. So in order to support ORM, Object Relationship Model. Similarly, the Spring is a framework. Okay, Spring is a framework, and Spring Boot is also a framework. When we come towards what is Spring, okay, the Spring says they have given their own definition as comprehensive programming and configuration management or configuration model in order to support enterprise application on any kind of deployment. Okay, so this is what they given their own definition on Spring. So comprehensive programming in the sense, in order to have a rapid portable program, in order to support the rapid program and in order to support the portable program, that is efficient program, and also configuration model. What is meant by configuration? The configuration says adding of necessary files and setting up the class path in a correct manner. That is, when we are configure our Java project, we have to place JDK in somewhere, okay? And when we are executing using command prompt, we have to set the class path. That process is called as configuration. The Spring will provide the inbuilt configuration model. They configure the class path, and they configure uh, what they include the necessary files in order to develop the project. For what? In order to develop the project which is of enterprise application. The enterprise application, when we come towards the term, when we come towards the term enterprise edition, what is it? Enterprise application in the sense, not only the web apps, that is web application. It may contain, you may develop APIs also, that is application programming interface. Okay, so it may be a API or it may be a web app or it may be any project. Okay, which is suitable for organization. Okay, so when we focus on the Spring's some other feature from the definition, we are coming to know the three terminologies. One is comprehensive programming, which means a rapid, portable, efficient program. Configuration model in the sense the adding of necessary files and setting the class path. The Spring will do it by own. For what? In the sense, in order to support the enterprise application. And the final phrase is on any kind of deployment, which means that if you develop the project using struct, that part of the project can be integrated in Spring. If you do some part of the product using Hibernate, which can also be integrated, that is, any kind of deployment means the Spring integrates, Spring integrates all other frameworks. That is, it supports all other frameworks. So this is what we call it. We are saying the advantage or the purpose of Spring. And when we come towards Spring Boot, the Spring Boot is also a framework. Okay, for what? To create standalone production grade Spring based application. Those applications can be run as the term just run. Just run. And the next feature or the next thing of the Spring Boot framework is it is opinionated view of Spring platform. So, in order to create standalone application, the standalone application means the console-based application, that is the core Java application, and also production grade. Production grade Spring-based application, which means that it increases the efficiency of the project. Okay, it increases the grade of the production. The project production is improved. What type of project? It is a Spring-based project that you can just run. That you can just run, which means that it gives all the necessary things. Your work is used to, you have to set up the idea and you have to implement the idea. The background works, that is inclusion of importing of packages or setting up of class files or downloading the class files. Okay, those things are carried out by Spring Boot. And another thing is opinionated view of Spring platform, which means that in Spring platform, the some of the things has to be improved. Okay, some of the things, those things are improved in Spring Boot. Some of the features of Spring needs some more efficiency. Okay, those efficiency are carried out in Spring Boot framework. For example, when you are built a home, okay, when you are built a home, and when you are shifting towards the built home, your own home, okay, you have to carry out the furniture, or you have to carry out the tables, and you have to um, place the TV, or you have to place your system, fridge, washing machine, everything. For that, you have to allot the space, and you have to plan where can we place the TV, where can we place the fridge, or where can we place the tables or chairs, etc. Okay. So if you do each and everything by own, then it is your normal Java application. But rather than when you are built a home, the some third party people, some third party vendors, uh, when you pay amount to them, they will bring their products and they will place their products and they will arrange everything. Your work is to go to home and you have to live. That is what. That is what. That is, they place the furniture and they place the fridge where it is correct, the position, correct position of the fridge, correct location of the fridge, and they will place the washing machine, they will place the TV, everything is furnished. That is the furnished home. The furnished home is a Spring Boot project. We can simply say in our own slang, the Spring Boot is a furnished home, is equal to furnished home. Okay. So let us discuss what is framework. We are saying Strut is a framework, Hibernate is a framework, Spring is a framework, Spring Boot is also a framework. Then what is framework? Framework. What is framework? The framework means it is a collection of packages, classes in order to support some features. For example, we have come across a framework called as collection. Yes, it is a collection of packages. It is a collection of class. It is a group of objects. For what? In order to implement the data structure concept. For example, list, stack, queue. Okay. So similarly, the framework means it is a collection of package class in order to support some feature. When we come towards struct, it is a framework. Yes, it is a collection of class, collection of package in order to support MEC pattern. When we come towards Hibernate, yes, it is a collection of packages, it is a collection of class in order to support ORM. Similarly, Spring, yes, it is a collection of package, collection of class in order to support comprehensive programming and configuration model for designing enterprise edition on any kind of deployment. Similarly, the Spring Boot is also a framework in order to create the standalone production grade Spring based application that can be run as a feature called as Juster feature, and also it is a opinionated view of Spring platform. Okay, this is what the introduction on that is the various framework. So when we come towards the features, various features of Spring, okay, various features of Spring. The Spring and Spring Boot, okay, the features, some of the features, that is supporting a Pojo class. What is meant by Pojo class? The Pojo class is plain old Java object. That is nothing, your getter and setter. The getter and setter. Okay. For example, class stu, okay, int number. It should be a private. Okay. If it is a private, in order to access the private members outside the class, we are moving towards getter and setter. In order to access the private members outside the class, we are moving towards getter and setter. String name. Let us have only two variables. For that, when we have to create, what, the getters and setters. Okay, getters and setters. For number, we have to say there's get number of. We have to return the number. The return type is int, so we have to give int here. That is the first word, the variable's first letter has to be capped. This is getter. Similarly, for setter, the first letter of the number caps. Int, you have to give the same no, and inside that, in order to differentiate the current object's number and your local variable number, we are using this keyword. This is used to refer the current object. Nothing is written from here, so we have to give void. Similarly, we can give the getter and setter for what? For the name also, that is string variable name. So we have to give name, we have to return name. This is of type string, we have to give string. Similarly, set name. So this is of type string, so we have to give string. This dot name equal to name. Okay, this is what Pojo class. So we have to close the class. Okay, this is one of the feature of Spring. We can use annotations in order to auto create of these getters and setters. Okay, we will discuss. So the next feature we can say it has dependency injection. dependency injection. What it is means, the dependency injection means either any of the object or any function receives other object or function that depends upon which means that the sharing of the dependent object, when the two object 1 and object 2 are dependent on one another, then this object, either the object 2 or object 2's function, is shared to object 1. This is what call it as dependency injection. Okay, and then REST API. What is REST API? Which means that representational state transfer. For example, when you are logging into some website, that is maybe a HackerRank website, for example, let us have it asks for sign in. You can click sign in and you can say continue with Google. When you are going to continue with Google, okay, continue with Google. This you are going in HackerRank and you are saying continue with Google. It gets into one pop-up window. In that window, it asks for the username and password of the Gmail account. When you press submit, it won't get into Gmail page. Okay, it won't give you the Gmail page. Okay, it will get into Gmail. Actually, what happens means it is sent it as HTTP request. Okay, and here also the HTTP request is sent, and it get into Gmail, and it verifies whether you are saying the correct username password. Yes, you are having the account. After that, it won't in Gmail page, rather than it get into what? HackerRank page, which means that it goes to Gmail, but it does not reside in Gmail, but it opens the HackerRank page with your profile name. That is Gmail's profile name, which means that the Gmail send the HackerRank page, not a HTTP response. It sends either XML, that is the result. The response will be in the form of either XML or it may be in the form of JSON file. The JSON or XML contains the information, that is the state of the current object, that is your username and password. For example, the XXX is a person, the XXX will be the object, the XXX state. What is the XXX state? If the username and password is correct, the state of the XXX is valid. If the password and username is wrong, then the state of the person XXX is invalid. If it is valid, the state sent in the form of XML or JSON is valid, then it opens the HackerRank page. If it is not valid, it will not open the new HackerRank page. It will rather goes to the previous HackerRank page. That is either sign in with Google or sign in with Facebook or sign in with any other. So that is the state of the particular object is transferred. That is called as REST API. That is representational state transfer. What is API? Application Programming Interface. Here, this pop-up, this window, this intermediate window, is act as a API. application programming interface. It acts as an interface between your HackerRank page and your Gmail page. So we are calling it as application programming interface. When you are searching it in the URL, in this URL, you may find out API key colon. Those things you may find. You may search by own. Okay. And also the another functionality is MVC, model view control. The view is your what you are seeing in the browser. Okay. The controller will control both the view and both the model. The model's responsibility is used to store and retrieve the data. For example, if there is a DB, in the DB, the model has to store and retrieve the data, and the controller has to get the request from view, and it has to send the request to model. The model will prepare the data in the form of what view needs. That response will be sent to controller, and the controller will communicate with view. This is MVC pattern. These are all some of the features of Spring or Spring Boot. So let us discuss the dependency injection in detail. Okay, let us discuss the dependency injection in detail. For example, let us have a scenario. Let us have a scenario that for example, you are having your apartment. Okay. In that apartment, you are in need of net connection. Okay. Let us, for example, you are in apartment. There is a apartment class. Okay. You are in need of net connection. It may be a BSNL. So your neighbors are saying the BSNL has its own tower near to your apartment, so it's good to have it. Okay. So for that, you have to purchase a BSNL modem. You have to purchase BSNL modem, which means that this is what our traditional method. This is what we done it in core Java. After that, we have to have a connect. Right? The connect off method will be here and their implementation details. Those things are carried out in BSNL office. Okay. After some time, you may think rather than BSNL, we will move towards some other local net. Okay, some other local net. Local service providers. Then what we have to do? What you have to do? You have to surrender the BSNL modem, and you have to create the local net modem. After that, you have to have a connect off. So this is what after some time, if you need some other, for example, it may be again BSNL or okay. Now again you have to change. This is what we call it as tightly coupled system. Here the apartment class is dependent on BSNL class. This is what dependency. How they are dependent? They are tightly coupled dependent. For each and every time when you are changing, you have to change the class. Which means that you have to create the own object for each and every class, and you have to create the memory reference and so on. Okay. So another way of this is you can create what? Interface. Okay, you can create interface. You can create the interface. Interface, internet. Inside that, you may have a method definition, declaration, not definition, method declaration. That interface can be, now what we have to do? We have to give implements internet. Implements internet. The same thing we have to do here also. We have to do implements internet. Alright. So after that, here rather than giving the local modem, rather than giving like this, what we will do? We will do the same class apartment. Alright. Inside that, we are going to create the object for the interface. Alright. We will call modem.connect. Okay. Here when we are need of BSNL, we will give new BSNL off. Okay. When you are in need of a local net, you can give local net off. When you are moving towards again BSNL, you can give BSNL off. Okay. Here also the same tight coupling is existing. The same tightly coupling is existing. But it is an example of tightly coupling with dynamic binding. So these are all the things we did in our core Java. But in order to, I have to replace the tightly coupling system. I have to replace the tightly coupling system to loosely coupled system. This is what the need for. This is one of the feature of what Spring Boot or Spring. In order to have a loosely coupled environment, the Spring searches and find the solution. That solution is called as dependency injection. Okay. Now we have to think what happens in loosely coupled. That is, the Spring says, don't worry, there is what? There is a JVM container. There is a JVM container. That is, the JVM is there. Inside the JVM, the Spring will have its own container. The Spring will have its own container. Here, for each and every class, the Spring will create the object. For each and every class, the Spring will create the object. For that, what we have to do? We have to give the annotation. If you give at component, if you give the keyword at component, then this annotation will create the object for apartment class. Okay. Similarly, when you give at component, okay, at component before the BSNL, there is a object for BSNL. Similarly, before the local net, you will, if you give at component, it will create it. Now you have to give what? You have to connect your apartment class with your BSNL class or your local net class. So you have to give at to over, at auto wire, at not override, at auto wire, which means that it will create a connection. Now there is a question that it will creation to what? Either BSNL class. Let us consider this as a BSNL. This as a BSNL class, that is object. This as a local net object. Okay. Now, for what it creates the wired connection? Whether the apartment class is auto wired to BSNL or it is auto wired to local net class. So this is what. So whenever the object is created, the spring will create the object for BSNL class like this. Own object will be created. Similarly for local net also. You have to specify the name here, or else you can give your own name. If you give at component of AAA. Similarly at component of BBB. Then you have to give here as at qualifier. You have to give the keyword as at qualifier of AAA. Which means that this apartment class is auto wire to BSNL. Okay. Now when we want to switch over to local net, you no need to change the reference of BSNL to what? Local net at all. You have to replace this there. We will discuss it. Okay. So there is no need to give the BSNL off. You have no need to give local net off. No need to give Airtel. No need to give Jio. No need to give the reference inside the program. Rather than you can simply give here as at qualifier of BBB. Then the spring will remove the connection to BSNL and it has a connection to local net. This is what spring. Which means that we are asking for third party vendor. Yes, I am in need of some good internet with low cost. Okay, you may bring BSNL or you may bring local net or you may bring Apple. So after fixing the BSNL modem, yes, I want to change it to some local net. If you have a call to your that is third party vendor, and the third party vendor I will make it to local net. That is, there is no bother to me to do such reference creations in my program. This is what we call it as loosely coupled environment. So these are all some of the features. Okay, the dependency injection, MVC pattern, REST API. Due to these features, the Spring or Spring Boot provides what? Production grade software. Production grade. Okay. So in forthcoming session, we will discuss how to implement a Spring Boot project using VS Code. There are a lot of editors. Okay. You may use CLI or you may use STS, that is Spring Tool Suite, that is the Eclipse version. Okay, your own choice. Let us discuss how to do the Spring Boot project using VS Code. Okay. So when we are implementing the VS Code, Spring Boot project using VS Code, okay, we will discuss the same exam. We will implement the same. We will implement the same scenario of dependency injection in VS Code using Spring Boot. In the next session, we will discuss. Thank you.